has 8-2 in year 2 of Willie Fritz's career here. As they make their way out to this beautiful palatial stadium, we welcome you here on Fox. Tim Brando alongside number 98, Devin Gardner. You'll hear from Josh R. Sims on the field shortly. Listen, in all my years of covering college football, partner, I've never seen a more disrespected, anonymous 8-2 team out of a Power 4 conference. Until they took down Open Date, they weren't even ranked. They moved to 23 this week.
And they got you going pretty good early, don't they? And coming into the season, not a lot was expected of Houston. That might explain why, because they just didn't know about what they had at quarterback. And if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. But guess what, Tim?
They do.
They have a quarterback. His name's Connor Wigman, and I'm just telling you, he has done an outstanding job controlling the football games with not only his legs, but also his arm. And get this, he's one of 5 guys in the country with 2,100 plus passing yards, 400 plus rushing yards, and 27 plus touchdowns. I'm just telling you, he's going to have his full multifaceted skill set on full display today.
And when this man says, I'm just telling you, you need to remember. Oh, yeah. Listen, I got to tell you, TCU was a team coming in with great expectations. Got out to a scintillating start. Then came some injuries, some road losses that we were on hand for. Now they're a mash unit, hanging on at 6-4, trying to make a little hay before the final gun.
Of course, it's been up and down for TCU, and a lot of it is because of the injuries, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, and the running back at the top, Kavorian Barnes. When he plays, that runner changes this entire offense. They're missing him, but I've got some more bad news for TCU fans. Bud Clark, that talented safety at the bottom there, he will not be with the team today, still nursing an injury. And they're going to need the back end to really step up in his place. But in the front 7, they have to make sure that they create havoc for Connor Wigman.
Sonny Dykes has his team ready to go. Time for our game countdown, sponsored by Progressive, the Progressive Game Countdown. Here are the faces looking to go places. Hoover looking to clean it up with his go-to guy, Eric McAllister. Connor Wigman, the A&M transfer, looks to find his go-to receiver, Amari Thomas. We'll have it for you right here on Fox.
Lucas, when 2 people love each other.
Hey, we've got Chamber of Commerce weather in Houston. Very little humidity when you think about it. Just a perfect day for football. The series history, 14-13 advantage for TCU. These teams met 20 consecutive seasons as Southwest Conference members between 76 and 95. And last season's 30-19 win by Houston at Fort Worth ended a 9-game winning streak for the Horned Frogs. TCU won the toss, elected to receive. Ethan Thompson will be handling the chores for the Cougs. And back deep, Jordan Bailey, number 4. And this one will go right through the end zone for a touchback. So out to the 25-yard line we go. And let's go down to our 3rd member of the broadcast team, Josh R. Sims.
Well, Timmy B, if TCU wants to get the win today, they're going to need their quarterback, Josh Hoover, to play better than he has the last few games. 4 interceptions in the last 2 games, 10 total on the season, which led the Big 12 coming into the day. Now, this week, Josh said, yes, he knows he needs to play better. His head coach, Sonny Dykes, says when he plays to his standard, we can win any game. Let's see if he can do that today.
I think the decision, Josh, to take the ball on the opening series says a lot about how crucial it is for them to get off to a good start. Jeremy Payne gets it out for a healthy gain, move the sticks, a first down. And Josh Hoover is, without question, without his best running game behind him, and he's a threat to run it too.
Yeah, he is, and he's really added that to his game this season. And like Josh talked about, he knows exactly where he's falling short. And the key for him today is to make sure he does just his job and allow and trust that everyone else will do theirs.
5 games into the season, you could argue he was playing better at quarterback than anyone else in the conference.
Won't deny it.
Quick drop and another quick pass out to Joseph Manjack, the journeyman receiver who spent some time at both USC before making his way to TCU. Manjack, a quality go-to receiver. Houston showing blitz and backing off. Jeremy Payne remains the setback on 2nd and 6. Payne delivering some pain. Couple of totes and a couple of first downs. He picks up 8 He's just shy of midfield, stopped by Eddie Walls, the field end at number 90.
As much as this is a pass offense, when they get the run game going, this offense can be extremely dangerous. That's positive to see them pick up a first down on the ground.
You can tell Kendall Briles had this thing scripted out. They wanted to get the ball first and the lead first. Little RPO action to McAllister. Eric McAllister. He can go a long way, and a marker's down behind him. Thrown in an area where you'd think possibly we'd have a hold, but hold everything. Looks like it. The preliminary indication is that's just the case, that we will have a hold.
Holding number 14. Offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
Well, that nullifies a 23-yard gain.
Yeah, and as much as you hate that that's called back, you like what offensive coordinator Kendall Briles is doing. He's doing his best to make sure he gets his playmakers involved early, and one of the biggest playmakers on this roster is number 1, Eric McAllister.
Kendall Briles, of course, carries the surname of one of the legends of high school football. Art Briles, of course, who took Baylor to greatness back in the early 2000s and into 2014, in fact. Well, that 4-yard gain, if you think about where the spot of the foul was, they lost 6 yards. Bubble screen to Manjack. And he negotiates his way almost back to the original line of scrimmage. He'll be just shy of the 49. Walls again making the tackle.
I really like that effort from McAllister. He's not in perfect position, but he continues to strain, doesn't get a holding call, and allows for Manjack to pick up yardage.
Payne. Not as much this time as they try to gouge the right side of that defensive front. Jack end. Brandon Mack II, the Ole Miss transfer, makes the stop. 3rd down and 7 coming up. And there is the young defensive coordinator, Austin Armstrong. 32 years young. Out of the shotgun, a wide open Jeremy Payne. Boy, he's having a whale of a start, is he not, Devin? Jeremy Payne's all over the place.
Absolutely, and you get soft coverage. You can't even see the other guy in the screen. And then he's backing. You've got to get the ball out quickly. Nice job by Josh Hooper, recognizing what he's getting from the coverage and getting that ball out quickly.
Rook Brown hauls him down from behind, but not until he made it all the way to the 33. Hoover 4 for 4 now for 29 yards. And boy, they are getting it out of there quickly. McAllister down to the bottom of your screen. He's looking that way right now. Eric McAllister, touchdown. Hello, how do you do, Eric Mack?
This is an outstanding throw. You got man-to-man coverage. And if you're standing still and Eric McAllister's running at you with 100% speed, there is no chance for you. And if you have your eyes on the quarterback while you're in man coverage, you're going to watch him complete passes on you, and that's going to be a touchdown for TCU.
His 9th touchdown, McAllister. Hoover's 24th touchdown toss.
Tim, how about this note? If you're in man coverage, what should you be looking at?
Number 1.
The man.
Nate McCashland with the extra point. Last week, the two had a little face-to-face debate. Things weren't going as well as those two would have liked. But you know what? When you put the biscuit in the basket, what you got here?
You dropped the bomb on them.
Baby.
Baby. You dropped the bomb on them.
Let's go, boys.
One thing.
By Geico. Switch and save. Get more with Geico. Devin, take us back to the touchdown.
Yeah, Tim, it's very simple. When you're in man coverage, you cannot be looking at the quarterback. He starts off looking at the quarterback, and then you get far down the field, and eyes are back. That is not conducive to success with McAllister running down the field. He is far too talented a wide receiver. If you're in man coverage, you need to keep your eyes on number 1 and White.
Coming off the field, they went right to the sideline, started wrapping his ankle, culminating the 8-play, 75-yard drive. After this kick, we're going to see how good your pipes are, partner.
Oh, yeah, we sure are.
Here comes the return from Makai Muse. And he's up past the 30-yard line, so take it away, 98.
Yeah, today's Get More game plan is sponsored by Geico. It feels good to Geico. For TCU, you got to hold Houston under 100 yards rushing. They are 3-0 when they do that to teams. And for Houston, you need to get 2 interceptions. In all 4 of the TCU losses, Hoover has thrown 2 interceptions. So they're 100%. If you get 2 picks, you're probably going to win this football game.
So here come the Cougars down by 7, and Connor Wickman, the outstanding transfer from Texas A&M. Well, the book on him coming over was he had lost some of his arm strength at A&M, that he had been banged up a little bit. Well, he has been as advertised since coming here. They go reverse to Cody Young. And number 18 scampers out to about the 39-yard line, and Wickman, 2-time Offensive Player of the Week in the Big 12, leads the way for this team. His dad was a linebacker playing quarterback, and so too is this kid. He's tough.
Oh, yeah.
He'll bring it down and run it himself. Gain of 8 there, 2nd and 2. Quick out. It's taken by Broussard. Yep, and he dropped it. Some of those layups you got to make. Broussard could not reel that one in.
Yeah, it's a nice job. It's an easy 2nd down and short, but take a look at the wide receiver's eyes, right? He has it as initially, and then he starts to turn and try to make a play, and that's a telltale sign that you probably are going to drop the football. Got to make sure you secure the catch first and then start to make a move.
He may have been experiencing a little anxiety, and a couple of weeks ago when they last played against UCF, he didn't have a catch, but think about it. He played big recently. He's gone some games without those catches, and here's Wickman looking to run it. And doesn't get much to the 40, but he needs the 41.
And I don't think that head coach Willie Fritz is afraid to go for it here. I think they put big personnel in, and they try to go right back to Wickman. He's done an outstanding job this season in these short yardage situations.
His offensive coordinator, Slade Nagel, what an outstanding story he is, and we'll be documenting more of that later. He has assembled a quality staff. A guy that played at Pittsburgh State, came up through the state of Kansas, became a head coach. There's Slade Nagel, the offensive coordinator, with the hat on. Now on 4th and 1, let's see what he dials up. Well, he faked the pitch, and Wickman takes it to the first down to the 42-yard line.
I gave you the stat before the game that he is one of 5 quarterbacks to have 2,100 plus passing yards, 400 plus rushing, and 27 plus touchdowns. I think it's a great idea to keep the ball in his hands in those short yardage situations.
And there is Andy Avalos, a one-time head coach at Boise State. Really happy to be with Sonny Dykes, who was impressed when going up against him as a coach, as many are. It's how you become a coordinator on a staff with a quality program like TCU. Dean Connors, and the 6', 206-pounder out of Hawaii and the transfer from Rice just came across town to play. Stopped in his tracks, no gain. 2nd down and 10.
You know, Tim, something I really like that Slade Nagel, the offensive coordinator for Houston, has done is take hits off of Wickman. You know he's going to have those design run opportunities, but he also has the opportunities that look like a read option, but they are certainly not. They're give all the way, but the defense doesn't know it.
TCU will come with 4, and they run option to Connors, and he turns it back out. That's a healthy gain all the way up to the 49-yard line. Pickup of 7, which will make it 3rd and very manageable. Caleb Alarmzar, number 3, linebacker, making the tackle.
Gotta love the old speed option, but take a look at these wide receivers outside. The extension of the offensive line, blocking downfield to allow this productive play on 2nd down to put them back in front of the chain. So now it's 3rd and short.
And we already know it's 4-down territory. That's Broussard in motion. Wiggins looking, and there's a lot of contact, but no flag, as Jamari Thomas was the intended receiver. They got a little physical there. Good coverage by Jordan Lester, the young man that's in there for the aforementioned Bud Clark, who's really the heart and soul of that team. And interestingly, they will punt it away here.
Yeah, that's a huge win for TCU because, like you said, without Bud Clark, you're looking for somebody to replace him and make sure they help in the back end. That's a nice start for number 22, Jordan Lester.
So 4th and 3, the metrics say, is not like 4th and 1. And the Cougars punted away to play field position. Dwyer is back deep. Fair catch at the 8. A 32-yard boot by Liam Garrity, who's done a marvelous job in this capacity all season long. Payne got him going on that last drive, but McAllister had the dagger. And Sonny Dykes' team is up by a touchdown.
On the 12th day of winter, the Jeep brand gave to me.
It feels good to Geico.
You know, Tim, what doesn't feel good is you didn't tell me good job when I read my read.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
I should have. You know, there was a time when I got paid by the word, but thankfully no longer. Jeremy Payne feeling some right here as Houston was ready for that as he tried to run the stretch play. Carlos Allen leads the way. Think about it. He leads the team in tackles as a nose tackle.
Oh, incredible. You just don't see it around the country. And he's going to be very important today because before that play, TCU was 3 or 4 on first down production, getting at least 4 yards on first down, and they stayed ahead of the chains. This puts them behind.
Crossing pattern. McAllister on that quick slant. By the way, that was the 7th tackle for loss on that first down run made by Carlos Allen.
Is he incredible or what?
He is.
I've never in the history of being around football or calling football games seen an interior defensive lineman lead the team in tackles.
Well, they give him the spot of nose tackle on the depth chart, but he moves all around. They switch spots all the way through the game. On third down, another quick cross to Dwyer. And that's not going to be anywhere close to where they need to be. So job well done by the Houston D, and it all began with the Allen TFL. Kentrell Webb and Mark Stampley collaborate on that stop.
And you can see defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong is absolutely fired up. When he talked to us yesterday, he said, listen, we're going to give up yards at some point. There are going to be yards given up. However, we have to make sure we force teams to drive the football down the field. I'm just telling you, he's excited about that huge stop. 3 and out.
Ethan Craw will punt it away. Should get it off around his 5. Makai Muse back deep. The left-footed booter gets a high end-over-end punt. Boy, that could have brought down some icicles. Quick bobble, but Muse does handle it at the 46 after a 37-yard gain. Here's a big fella.
And Tim, he's being held.
Yeah.
He still finds his way through. That's why he has all those tackles.
Where's the penalty flag?
When you don't want to lose sleep over the holidays, it matters where you stay. Book now and save up to 25%. Hilton for the stay.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the experience of this trainer,
Good to go.
but getting that trainer.
Megan Trainer. I'm all about that brace, no trouble. Give me your arm.
No, it's not for that.
Who are you?
Patrick, I play football.
This is Patrick, everyone. Give it up for Patrick. He does sports.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Why is no one clapping?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It only takes.
Home to the once 8th wonder of the world, the Astrodome. Home to the original urban cowboy, John Travolta in the 70s. And now, Michael Barshop is the ultimate urban cowboy of our crew. Still wearing his cowboy hat. Here's Whitman on first down. In the corner, incomplete for Amari Thomas. Jordan Lester up to the task again. That ball hung up just a little on Wigman.
Yeah, and on those slot fades, those go routes, you want to get it up high so your receiver sees it first. But a nice job of Lester. He doesn't quite get his eyes back. However, he doesn't impede the wide receiver, so I like the no call from the referees. That's his second play made in place of Bud Clark.
Our white hat today is Michael Van der Velde, one of the really good white hat referees that we have in college football today. Keeps the game moving. B.J. Butler is stopped after a minimal gain, maybe 3, and that's about it. Alarmsor again with the stop, the senior out of Hayward, California. He leads his team in tackles and TFLs.
And when we talked to head coach Sonny Dykes, he said Caleb Elongor, he was such a surprise. I mean, they expected him to play good football, but he has played at an exceptional level for this defense.
Well, Houston, 43% on third down conversions. They're staring at a 3rd and long here, 3rd and 7 for Whitman. Pressure, and he's flushed. Pass is low and incomplete. Thomas again the intended receiver. So once again, with quality field position, nothing accomplished. Connor Lindgren, 99, was in hot pursuit to force Whitman to hurry to get that one away.
And Tim, at the top of the show, I talked about that front seven. Making sure that they control the line of scrimmage. That time they flush Wegman out of the pocket so he can't stand in the pocket and make throws, which he is accustomed to doing. A very nice job of the front seven, those defensive linemen and linebackers working in concert to make sure that the run game and the pass game is disrupted.
So the Cougars get nothing with the quality field position in that series. Doherty to punt it away. Dwyer again stands at his 10. Again, a high end over end punt and a fair catch. This time at the 16-yard line, a boot of 34 yards. A big score early on the opening series for TCU. Cougars and Horned Frogs have had their defenses take over since. Visible, live, in the know, or live in the know if you prefer.
How about this, though? Denman, a reserve running back, a true freshman that scored a touchdown last week. Oh, my goodness. Should I do it, Tim?
Go ahead.
Down goes Denman. Down goes Denman. He's a talented young running back, and they are going to give him a lot of reps today. But on special teams, he got knocked down there.
Freshman out of Palestine, Texas. And look, Hoover on the field. Denman. Incomplete. And Jordan Bailey was the intended receiver that time. So Kendall Browse decided to open up the passing game a little bit on first down here.
Yeah, Tim, and that's his first incompletion, and he had the correct read. He just needs to layer that ball and get it down quickly into the hands of his wide receiver. That's his first miss on the day.
Denman remains the setback on 2nd and 10. Hoover. He decides to tuck it. Great recovery, too, after being pushed up into the pocket. Walls and Allen dragging down. I'll tell you the quickness of Carlos Allen. Transfer out of Kennesaw State. And by the way, life in Houston is grand after being at Kennesaw State. There you see Sonny Dykes looking on. He knows how badly he needs this W to get off the schneid. Couple of losses in a row and losing at home. They're not accustomed to that. Hoover in trouble. Lofts it for the tight end, Curtis. Chase Curtis with the grab. That was a beautiful throw. I mean, magnificent.
They went man-to-man coverage, and it leaves everybody one-on-one. And watch this throw by Hoover to Chase Curtis. I mean, it just looked beautiful in 4K, I bet.
26 yards and a first down. Bubble screen to Bailey. Jordan Bailey up to the 49-yard line. Eddie Walls again the tackle.
Saw Houston bring pressure, and that's a nice job of the offensive line of TCU dealing with that pressure and allowing Hoover to navigate in and outside the pocket to make that throw.
Well, he's now 9 of 10 for 97 yards, Hoover. And they flipped the script on the field position now after that 26-yard completion a moment ago. Denman carries. He's ahead for 3.
Yeah, with Cougars Barnes out, Denman is a guy they're going to be depending on. Even though he's a true freshman, he's got real pop, right? He's got real burst, and they want to see if he can be the guy that eases the load on Josh Hoover.
Yeah, they think once he gets to the second level, he can take off.
Oh, yeah.
2 out of 3 today on third downs. Denman remains the setback. Now the massive shift with McAllister, Manjack, and Dwyer all moving to the top of your screen. 3rd and 1. Denman, boy, look at him move that pile. He has the first down.
It's over.
To the 45-yard line, a gain of 3.
You know what I really like, Tim? Offensive coordinator Kendall Browse. Huge shift. Every single wide receiver just run inside zone, right? And it's just really giving window dressing so the defense thinks, oh, well, maybe they're going to do this. Maybe they're going to do that. Nope, we're just going to hand it to our true freshman for a first down.
We got a little West Texas eye candy for you before we snap it.
There you go.
First down. McAllister down at the bottom of your screen again. He sees single coverage. He'll go that way. Deep cross. There he is. And he overthrew it. Oh, that was just a sneaky good pass pattern by McAllister, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It really was.
That's a miss by Hoover. And the fact that he has duress in the pocket, right? He's done a nice job of moving in the pocket, but that time it forced him off of his spot, and it didn't allow him to layer that throw to his wide receiver.
He was hurried. He did get some pressure. That probably had something to do with the overthrow.
Yeah, but Travion McCutcheon was one of the guys that put the pressure on Hoover.
2nd and 10. Double screen again. Manjack this time. Move the chains again. That guy is just Mr. Consistency. He's been productive everywhere he's been.
And Tim, this is one of your favorite type of players. He picks up a gain of 17 with no gloves. He snatches that catch out of the air and then gets down the field to put TCU in the high red.
Former Cougar, former Trojan. There he is. You know this game is extra special to him. You knew they'd have a big-time package dialed up for Manjack. He picks up 11, another first down. Jordan Allen, the strong safety, the stout.
And another great hands catch going up, and I call that a combat catch, right? Those catches where you go up and you catch it and you're being contacted at the same time. The strong hands of Manjack makes it.
Inside the 20, now in the red zone of the Cougars. TCU already up by a touchdown. Hoover in rhythm, into the end zone. It's Dwyer. He has it. Touchdown, Horned Frogs. Oh, that was a laser. Absolute laser by Hoover. Heck of a catch, too.
I mean, what a nice job of layering that football, and I cannot wait to come back from commercial and show you guys how impressive this throw was, and a great catch by Dwyer.
McCashlin for the extra point. And this is a stunned Cougars team. And the crowd awfully quiet. Couple of quick looks at this. Manjack got it started, Devin, and then the payoff coming.
Yes, he did. You'd love to see a guy sky up and snatch the ball out of the air. All hands, and then a perfect throw to the back of the end zone from Hoover, and Dwyer pays it off.
Our communities share one heartbeat. It lives in the places we gather and the spaces that give us purpose. But when disasters strike, that heartbeat stops. The very fiber of a community torn. And that's when Belfour steps in to help bring it all back. So students can learn, hospitals can heal, and families can return. Belfour, restoring more than property.
14-0 TCU, and again, this crowd is stunned. Hoover only had 2 touchdown passes in the last 3 games. Well, he's already got 2 today, and we're not to the end of a quarter yet. Cougars had some really good field position to work with, got nothing done, and it's time for them to respond on this series. Connor Wigman makes his way out.
Offside, number 21, kicking team. 5 yards will be added to the end of the play, first down.
Let's go back to that touchdown, Devin.
Tim, I'll have to show you this really quickly. This is what we call a 2-man. Let's split this field in half. This man here is going to be a half player, and you're going to get man-to-man on Dwyer, right? So it's technically a double team, and somehow, some way, he gets inside, and that ball is layered right into his hands. That is a difficult throw and a difficult route to execute.
Fantastic on both ends, really. And the Horned Frog fans who made the trip down from Fort Worth are loving it. Wigman trying to answer to Dean Connors. Oh, he laid out for that one.
you've got a mismatch. You've got man-to-man. You're running back on a linebacker, and he just races down the seam in a perfect throw by Connor Wigman.
Back to live action. Connors burrows ahead for a couple. And now let's finish off that throw while we have a moment.
I mean, the throw is great. The throw is perfect. A clean pocket. But how about this catch? This is a running back. A diving hands catch. Turns his body to make sure that there is no question.
That looked like Dallas Clark, didn't it?
Oh, what a catch.
He could be a tight end somewhere. Only difference, he has gloves on. Manjack needs to talk to him, I guess. DJ Butler, Dean Connors, two backs here. And it's DJ Butler. Third-ranked true freshman running back coming in, stopped by Alonzor. And now they're facing a 3rd and long as we come to the end of the first quarter. And to this point, it's really been all about TCU.
Yeah.
Houston needs to answer. They may get a playoff here. We'll see. Willie Fritz took Tulane to the Cotton Bowl. If we'd had a 12-team playoff, they would have been in it that year. Took down the Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams of USC. Connors, a little safety valve, nothing doing there. Devin Deal, number 11. One of the triplets in there, along with his triplet brother Deal, Marcus Deal, Ansel Denba, Zach Chapman, and others. As we come to the end of one, Willie Fritz's coming out party has been rained upon by the Road Warriors from TCU.
Those
60 years. Hey, Grandpa, telling his darling all about what we've seen. Hoover putting on a show. 12 of 14, 148. Houston not able to muster much offense until that last sequence, and yet were stopped again. Once they got into TCU territory, they'll punt it away here. And Doherty lets it fly, and this time it's in for a touchback. 43 yards. And speaking of Hoover, tell me more, 98.
Yeah, I mean, he has been special. This is the Hoover that a lot of Big 12 fans and TCU fans remember. In the face of adversity, in the face of duress, he continues to put the ball exactly where it needs to be. He has been so precise to start this football game, and this throw right here is incredible.
Young man out of Rockwall High School, Heath, Texas. You see the percentages and the yards, all of that. He's been at the top of the heap in this league, but has struggled some, particularly with the loss of Barnes and some of the other injuries the offense has gone through. Jeremy Payne remains in there, and again, another great run on first down. He'll pick up 8, and it'll be 2nd down and 2.
The offensive line has gotten good movement on run plays, but on that one, that was exceptional movement. They completely cleared that hole out and allowed for Payne to get through.
They actually gave him 9, so they only need a yard, and he's got that, and then some. Ahead to the 35-yard line. McCutcheon making the stop. Latravion, who's got, of course, a brother on this team. And you talk about personality plus, he's got that.
Oh, yeah, the stars of one of my favorite shows, Friday Night Tights. Outstanding show. They were children on that show.
Wonder if they auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club back in the day.
No chance.
Out of our rollout. That pass is picked. McAllister was the intended receiver, and it's snared out of the air by Will James. The transfer from USM comes away with a pilfer. Well, Hoover had confidence that he could throw a 50-50 ball, I gather. But this coverage was outstanding.
Yeah, of course. And this is where, if you're Hoover, it's not worth it. You're playing so well. Everybody's covered. You're outside the pocket. Just throw this football away. But you can understand that he believes in McAllister.
Oh, yeah.
The thing you want to do, though, you want to get that ball nice and high so either McAllister gets it or nobody gets it. An outstanding job by Will James taking it away.
Opportunity now for the Cougars. Wigman checks it down to Connors. And Dean takes it ahead for an outstanding first down gain. Pickup of 7 at least. Caleb Alonzo again with the tackle.
Offensive coordinator Slade Nagel tried to go for the shot there. That opportunity in sudden change to take a shot down the football field. A great job by a veteran quarterback in Connor Wigman, seeing that they have it covered downfield, checking the ball down, and picking up a productive first down play.
He originally signed with Clemson. Tommy West was there back in those days, and he wound up coming back to his native Lake Charles, Louisiana, and played at McNeese State. A great FCS program in the Southland Conference. Now he's calling plays here at Houston. Gain of 1 for Stacy Sneed. Alonzo again with the stop. They did penetrate the 45 up to the 46-yard line. 3rd down and 2.
In comes big number 35, Caleb Thomas, to add some beef to that tight end group. And you imagine that they would try to keep the ball in the hands of their quarterback, Connor Wigman. If not, go to like a quick screen.
Thomas, 35, out of Houston's North Shore High School. Redshirt freshman. In that slot. Ooh, they deked him. There's some pressure off the edge, and Wigman decides to run. Beautiful coverage by Alonzo again. He forced him to cut back, would not allow him the edge, and they're shy of the first down. It's 4th and a yard.
That is such a nice job by Alonzo, right? First, it's the play action pass. You're going to fake run, then you go back to pass, and Alonzo is with him the entire time. He does a really nice job of chasing as Houston lines up to try to go for you.
Oh, boy, and now they get a flag.
Yep, just got him off sides.
Yep.
That has got to
delay a game. Defense disconcerting signals. Number 2, 5-yard penalty.
How about that?
We haven't heard that one all year, huh, Tim?
No, we haven't. Neither is Sonny, apparently.
All right, so the defense cannot clap. They can do nothing that appears that it's making the offense believe that the ball is being snapped.
I wonder if Bud Clark got away with that, but he's not in the game, therefore, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes the veteran leaders get away with a few things that the replacements don't.
Oh, yeah.
Sneed and Connors now, dual setbacks on 1st down. So they got a cheapie there. Now out of the play fake. Pass was low for Sneed.
Yeah, so a lot of times it gets confused, and Sonny Dykes didn't like this because Johnson, he's clapping for his teammate. He's not trying to get the offense offside, but you cannot official intent, right? Yeah. You can't clap, you clap. It's disconcerting signals. I like the call by the referees.
There's so much clapping going on in the game today. There's some quarterbacks that will now tell you, and they'll tell coaches this too. You know, I've never really had a snap count. I clap.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's just this world we're living in, where everybody's on their phone, nobody's talking to each other.
Communication, people. We need more of that. Wigman pulls it down again, tries to get as much out of it with his legs as possible. Marcus Deal shoves him out of bounds after a gain of 3. 3rd down and a lengthy 7 yards to go.
I mean, Tim, you just got to love 6'5", 325 pounds, Marcus Deal. Disengaging and then chasing and straining to get to the quarterback. Just watch him. He's fighting there on the left side of the screen, and he has to go flat because if he doesn't, Wigman will turn the corner, and he sails out to get him out of bounds.
Well, he's more than made up for the one tackle he needed to surpass last year's total. He got it. Here's Thomas. Yamari Thomas with that quick burst out of that quick hitch, and Alonzo again with the tackle.
Such a nice job by offensive coordinator Slade Nagel. He put one of his best wide receivers, if not his best wide receiver, Amari Thomas, at running back. The defense doesn't recognize it. You get it out to him quick. 1st down, Houston.
Slade came over with much of the staff that was at Tulane with Willie Fritz. Deepest penetration of the day for the Cougars. Wigman in trouble now, has to unload it. Heavy duty pressure. He was looking for his tight end, Koziel. Tanner Koziel really is the go-to guy in this offense. The Ball State transfer has some future out of Bloomingdale, Illinois.
Yeah, and it's a guy they want to get the football to. That time it was a play designed for him, but a nice job by the defense of TCU, understanding that he's coming from the other side of the field. They pick it up, and Connor Wigman has to throw it away.
That 3-man front of Andy Avalos is getting home a lot so far in this game. And a pistol formation now with Butler behind Wigman. And they run that stretch play again, and look at TCU. Boy, they arrived at the football in a bad humor. The ball came loose late. I think it already had been whistle dead. Jamel Johnson was the first to get there.
Tim.
Loss of 4.
Violence on defense, especially in the front 7. Devin Deal, he's going off the field right now. But when I tell you, he absolutely jacked that tackle up. Watch the helmet of the left tackle. Watch his helmet when contact is made. Boom! Oh, that's why that play isn't able to be made by Houston, and all the rest of the cavalry is able to come. Outstanding job by Deal. You hope that he's okay on the sideline. That is violent intention.
3rd and 14. Wigman stepping up. He's going to run. A lot of green grass. I think he slid too soon. He slid at least 2 yards too soon. And he knows it. He's upset with himself about it.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to get a bunch more, at least the first down, and he slid way too soon. That's a nice job of climbing into the pocket. When you get into the fight, you climb into the pocket, good things happen, but he goes down far too early.
In defense of him, he knows he's got to stay healthy. But now here you are facing a 4th and 3 with your deepest penetration of the game so far. Wigman needs some help. He's got Connors wide open, and he underthrew him. And a marker down. They may get bailed out with a PI. Or a hold, if not pass interference, perhaps a hold.
I think it's Austin Jordan. When the scramble drill started, he started to grab and hold on to make sure he's not beat, and they're going to get a first down, and Connor Wigman gets away with one, sliding on 3rd down.
I got to tell you, Connors was wide open.
Yeah.
No one near him.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 1, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Good call, partner. It is the senior from Denton, Texas, Austin Jordan.
And it always happens when you see the quarterback start to scramble, right? You try to plaster to an offensive player, and he just starts to grab and reach and grab. It's not a whole bunch there, but you can see that he's grabbed. But Connors is wide open, like you talked about down the field. He sees them late, but they're bailed out because of the holding call.
All the way to the 20 now. 2 of Houston's first downs, 2 of their 3 on this drive coming by way of the penalty. Quarterback power this time. Navigates his way to the 15. Zach Chapman, number 0. Young man out of Missouri City, Texas, with the tackle.
Tim, you love a good quarterback power, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And especially from a quarterback whose dad was a linebacker.
And he's got linebacker instincts as a quarterback. He really does.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of one Eric Rodriguez, a pretty good running quarterback at Virginia before he transferred over to Texas Tech.
Yes, indeed.
Did you see him on Big Noon today? It was great to see him on Big Noon kickoff. Flew and Emma and his mom to there, and they're going for the corner. It's touchdown. It's Umari Thomas.
The most difficult route to guard in all of football, in my opinion. The deep over. He's just running and running and running and running, and he runs to the open space. A touchdown throw for Connor Wigman. Outstanding job by Umari Thomas of getting to the open space.
Ethan Sanchez, an outstanding kicker, will be on the Groza list.
It's so difficult to cover that, Tim.
Oh, yeah. Out of the snap of Garza, the holder, Jake Sock. And it's a 1-touchdown game. Thomas with his 9th touchdown. Started with the interception. And then some help with penalties. And Umari Thomas on the receiving end.
On a 2-timing Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
You guys mind flipping? Sponsored by Geico. It feels good to Geico. And the Cougars felt pretty good for them to get a touchdown for the end of the half. 11 plays, 62 yards after the interception that was pivotal by Will James. And now Jordan Bailey awaits the kick. This one is on the ground and is going to be returned by Bailey. Here we go. And he gets beyond the 25 to about the 27-yard line. And here's that touchdown again. This one, you had to go a long ways to bring this one in.
Hey, Tim, you want me to tell you how hard this is? You've got a guy, they pass it off to him. He's already ahead of the receiver. and he still can't stop him. This is about 15 by 30, right? 15 yards down the field, and then 30 yards across. He has a head start, and he still can't stop him. The most indefensible play. It's hard enough when the corner line's right over him. Yeah. How about I pass it off, and you still can't stop him?
Indeed. Out of the shotgun, Hoover's had a great half until that pick. And Jeremy Payne sets sail. Well, he put his foot in the ground and then cut to the right. And strong safety Jordan Allen pushed him out of bounds. Good gain. Payne is running well. 7 yards on first down. Only a couple of times have the Horned Frogs gotten behind the chains, courtesy Carlos Allen.
Yeah, the offensive line is doing a really nice job of getting on those red jerseys to create space.
Payne surges ahead. Should have enough for the first down. You can keep picking up that kind of yardage on first and second down on the ground. It's going to make Hoover's life all the more easy. And there have been times when he has shown us the flashes of his early season brilliance. Out of the shotgun again. Late blitz coming. Hoover overthrown again, looking for Jordan Bailey. And again, he felt a little bit of heat coming off the edge, which may have had something to do with that ball sailing up. 2nd and 10. Well, he certainly used a variety of receivers, which is what Kendall Briles always prescribes. He likes to shake it up. He'll use as many as 6 to 7 guys in his offensive weaponry, sharing the wealth or sharing the sugar, as they say. And on that quick cross to Manjack, another 5-yard pickup. Sione Fotu, the Mike linebacker, number 12, making the tackle.
Tim, it's just a short catch, 5 yards, but it's just so impressive to watch a guy with no gloves just snatch the ball out of the air.
3rd down to 6. Pressure off the edge. Hoover's pass is caught. It's DJ Rogers, his number 1 tight end. Chase Curtis had a 26-yarder earlier. That's a 7-yard gain in front of Kentrell Webb, who wears the green dot for Austin Armstrong, the defensive coordinator.
So impressive by Josh Hoover, standing in the face of danger and throwing that pass against the blitz. And then on first down, they continue to stay on schedule. 57% of the time, they're getting at least 4 yards. They're staying ahead of the chains. It's so important.
Tight end lines up on the left side. Play fake. Hoover going for it all. There's McAllister. Tipped into the air and intercepted on the back of his pants. Rook Brown brings it in off the tip drill. McAllister got a hand on it. It's he that tipped the ball. Webb was back there with Brown. Brown is literally lying back there and makes the grab. Wow. Oh, you talk about good times and living right? Oh, yeah. It's going to be my day when I get a pick that looked like that. Oh, my derriere is kind. By Allstate, you're in good hands. Well, when Bo Nix now with the Denver Broncos was at Auburn, they used to say you get some good Bo and you get some bad Bo. Okay, Josh Hoover, the good Hoover, 12 of 14, 2 touchdowns early, 80%, right? Since then, he's 2 of 5 with 2 interceptions. So that's 80% the wrong way.
Yeah. And TCU fans are going to be groaning when they see what could have happened on that play.
And the fact that that was a first down play is significant. You're running along, you're on schedule. Dean Connors gets ahead for a couple of yards.
So I know you want to take a shot if you're Josh Hoover, but if you take a look, you've got a guy in the middle of the field, and the throw you're trying to make, it's not going to be there. You want to know why you shouldn't do that? Because it's first down, and you got a guy wide open. Check the football down, live to play another down. He throws an interception, and like I talked about, in the keys, they lose 100% of their football games when he throws 2 interceptions. That's 0-4 on the season.
Yeah, Dwyer is a pretty responsible receiver, too.
He is.
And he was wide open. Connors remains the setback. Only 3 on that play as Alarmsor. Man, he is playing big time, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
That guy is all over the place.
When we talked to the coach, they said he has exceeded all expectations. They knew he would be good. They didn't know he would be this good. He makes another play today.
3rd down and 8. Cougars looking to get out of this poor field position that they're encountering. First down here could go a long way for them. Clock winding down to the 5-minute mark of the first half. TCU stacks the edge, and look at Dean Connors go. Dino on the go. He may have stepped out a little before he was shoved out, but what a run and what a play call by Slade Nagel.
What a nice job blocking downfield. Number 80 gets in and digs that linebacker out, and the rest is all the big 4-4. Dean Connors up the sideline.
Well, as another Dino might have said, that's amore right there. That's a first down and amore.
Oh, Dean Martin, huh?
Yeah, that Dino.
Oh, yeah.
First down, Wigman to DJ Butler. He's shoved out at the 20-yard line.
Sometimes for an offense, that's all you need. One big play, a big stop by your defense, an interception, and then a big run by your running back, and you start to feel like a well-oiled machine. You can see Connor Wigman starting to feel himself, checks the ball down there, and sets up a 2nd and short. The entire playbook is open. They have their speedy wide receiver, number 18, Kobe Young, at the bottom of the screen, and it looks like man-to-man coverage.
Before that 54-yard run, they had 16 plays and 42 yards rushing. There goes Butler. DJ Butler down to the 21 of TCU. You know, I give Slade Nagel a lot of credit for making that call on a 3rd and 8.
Oh, yeah.
Man, did it pop wide open for Connors.
Oh, yes, it did. That was a huge play for this Houston offense. And when you get down in here tight, you're at the high red right now. When you start to get into the red zone, keep your eyes on number 9, Tanner Kozio. He hasn't made a catch today, but I'm just telling you, he is a huge threat.
He's been down since he made that run, and he's still a little banged up and hurting on that sideline. A timeout taken now by Houston. Slade Nagel worked with his dad. Not only was he a high school coach and a great one, but at Northwestern State College, right after he got his career started, they were both assistants on Scott Stoker's staff that was an FCS playoff team and a Southland champion. Much like the head coach, Willie Fritz. Humble beginnings at every level. That's what the Fritz staff is all about. And this team now gathering momentum as they look to tie it on this series.
When you're on Medicare and managing diabetes...
Devin, that's the longest run of the year, 54 yards by Dean Connors. The other 54-yarder was against Rice, which, oh, by the way, is where he transferred from.
There you go. He's got almost 100 yards of total offense. He's really been a spark for this Houston offense, but he's been pretty good all year.
Also his career long. That snap came a little sooner than Wigman wanted it. Now he heaves it in the corner. That was almost caught. And a flag comes down late. Kobe Young, the intended receiver. What an ad-lib job. He knew the direction Young was headed, right? It's a go. And Canada, in defense of him, was trying to catch up, and apparently that's where the PI occurred.
Number 7, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
What a bailout after a snap problem. Clearly, Wigman was not ready for it when it came.
Yeah, Wigman did a really nice job there, but I remember I highlighted their speedster, Kobe Young, and Canada does a really nice job. I want to see this again. I don't like that call at all. I think that's a bad call.
Yeah,
I do not see pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can say there, but I don't think he's hindering him from getting to the ball. I can see it both ways, I guess.
Yeah, he did have some jersey, but it was very late.
Yeah.
Very late.
Yeah.
When he got the jersey on the shoulder pad.
Yeah, the center gets bailed out there, huh?
Oh, does he ever? and Wigman, great presence of mind to know where his primary receiver was going to be.
Perfect throw.
Oh, yeah. Could have been a touchdown easily. Butler upended at the 5, or maybe inside the 5. Jamel Johnson the tackle.
And Tim, let me tell you, if he doesn't make such a perfect throw there, they don't throw that flag.
No,
because
you're right.
that ball is right there on the fingertips of the wide receiver, they decide that the tug of that jersey was enough to hinder him from getting to the football.
From the 4, Whitman. He loves to run it. It's been his specialty. I think he may have gotten it down at least to the 3, maybe the 2, before being pushed back by Deal. Connors looks on. Don't you know he'd love to be out there to finish this thing off? And it is hard to run tackle to tackle against the triplets, Chapman, Deal, Denba, and Devin Deal.
Tim, if I'm the offensive coordinator here, if I'm Slade Nagel, I think this is 9 time. I think this is Tanner Koziel, some type of play action, get those defenders in tight and then get that ball up high and allow your big, tall tight end, 6'7", 250, Tanner Koziel, to make a play.
Well, they've got a little time to think about it. We're at the 2-minute timeout of the first half with the ball resting at the 3-yard line. Cougars looking to tie this baby up in the most competitive conference in America, and one that's getting a little bit of love at long last, courtesy of the College Football Playoff Committee.
Early Black Friday sale. Get 20% off fashion jewelry and gifts.
Ratio.
Yeah. Cougar fans know that Koziel and Thomas have been productive, but just how productive? Well, take a look at that. They have the bulk of the production, and then all these guys have less. So if I were offensive coordinator Slade Nagel here, I go to my big, tall tight end, Tanner Koziel.
That young man has been big time. Had a season high 8 receptions before the open date. And that matchup with UCF. Reverse. It's Yamari Thomas. High hurdling at the 1. And he's going to be shy. Again, TCU does a marvelous job defending it. Alarmzar and Devin Deal running it down. He launched himself at about the 3, could only get to the 2.
I mean, you've got to love the pursuit. Horned frogs everywhere, and they can leap as well. Alarmzor again on the play to stop Thomas short. So, Slade Nagel, he chose one of the 2. He chose Thomas on that one. You've got Koziel in the slot. This may be the time.
4th and goal. Connors is back there with him. Uh-oh. Quick timeout, and it came at just the right time by the Horned Frogs.
TCU has called their first charge. Timeout of the half, 30 seconds.
They were about to go offsides. They were about to go offsides. So a well-timed timeout. And coming up at halftime, let's go back to Sarge in Los Angeles to tell us about the State Farm halftime show.
Coming up, it's the State Farm halftime. USC battling Oregon in what could be a playoff elimination game for both teams. After a huge win in Tuscaloosa, see what Oklahoma's defense did against Missouri. Plus, Utah looking to stay alive for the Big 12 championship game. Remember that? Staying alive, staying alive. Saturday Night Fever, Tim and Devin. Get you some. Disco at the half, baby. Woohoo! Let's make it happen. Staying alive, staying alive.
Yeah, but what about your hair? What about your hair? John Travolta had the hair.
And you got the hair.
I got the hair. I got the wave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got it dyed, but I got the wave. All right, here we go. 4th and goal. What do you think? What do you think?
It's going to be man-to-man coverage, and the clear mismatch on the field is number 9 in red, but Connor Wegman can still keep this football.
Wigman into the corner for Koziel. Intercepted by TCU. Boy, they had that well defended. I mean, there were 3 guys back there in coverage, and the ball just fell right into the arms of Julius Sims.
The true freshman. What an outstanding job by him. They knew exactly what I knew. There's a mismatch on the field, so you better get 2 guys to him. Number 31, another guy trying to help replace the production of Bud Clark, a true freshman who gave this team a spark versus Kansas State. He makes a big play for the Horned Frogs.
You're okay with not getting the 3? You're okay with that?
I love the opportunity to give the ball to a mismatch, period.
Okay.
That ball needs to be a little bit higher by Connor Wigman to give him a better chance. However, I don't hate the call.
Okay. Payne. Oh, this could pop wide open. It has. And he's out past the 45 to the 48-yard line. Latrell McCutcheon with the tackle. Travion, of course, his brother.
You've seen this offensive line create movement all day, and Payne is having himself a field day finding those lanes, and he finds a big one on that one.
Well, remember this sequence. The interception on a 4th and goal, and now TCU with ample time to get points, whether it's 3 or 7 before the intermission. This could be a tipping point in this football game. 76 yards for Payne. Manjack on the bubble screen, and it pops for him. Number 14, marker down. It will be a block or a hold on Jordan Dwyer. So hold everything, bring it back. 52 yards, but 7 even looks guilty, and he knows it. He's already backing up. The old crackback, things you just used to do, can't do anymore.
7. Offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still results in a first down.
He knows it. It was a hold. Those are places where you a lot of times will see a crackback block too, but this was just a hold.
Yeah, you can see his hands get outside. He clotheslined him.
Yeah.
And Manjack, I'm going to be honest, I don't think he needed it.
No,
I don't think he needed it, but a huge call there. Now, they still have a first down because it's a spot call. They go from the spot of the foul, and so they're still across the 50 in the territory of Houston, but you would love to have that big play back.
No question. So it's a net 12-yard gain after the spot foul. Payne gets it down to the 35-yard line. Eddie Walls again leading the charge, number 90, a gain of 5. And a timeout coming by the Horned Frogs. Sonny still wants to know. He may be talking with Dwyer, too, when he has an opportunity. He always wants those big plays. Opportunities for explosives. That's what it's all about. Next Saturday, what everyone's been waiting for. The Buckeyes and Michigan. Wolverines have won 4 in a row in the series. It all starts at 9 a.m. with a special 3-hour big noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor. Then it's Michigan, Ohio State at noon, only on Fox to culminate the regular season.
Wait, Tim, how many in a row?
I believe that's 4.
Wow. I had no idea. Hey, Jolly, producer, in the truck. Did you know it was 4?
Yeah, I believe he's from Ohio, isn't he?
I think so.
I think so. 2nd down and 5. Dwyer in motion. Jordan Bailey, the catch. Ball is loose, and it's recovered by Houston. Cougars get it right back. Jordan Allen with a recovery. 3rd TCU turnover and another Peanut Tillman play. Ball was punched out.
Tim, look at this effort just to go bow!
Yep.
That's an MMA Peanut Tillman punch if I've ever seen one. And another turnover for the TCU offense.
And Will James has a second. He started that with the Peanut Tillman moment. He also has the interception that sort of turned this game in many respects. And now all of a sudden, it'll be interesting to see now with this much time remaining what the Cougars do.
And not only can he punch, he can dance too, Tim.
Indeed. Yes, he can. 1st and 10, well, they're going to sit on it. Not a bad idea. Fans don't like it, but I get it. These coaches get a little tired of seeing those 50-50 plays that lead to turnovers.
Tim, you got to count your blessings.
Yeah.
You turn the ball over when you had an opportunity to get points on the board.
Absolutely.
You went for it on fourth, which I agree with.
Right.
But your defense stood tall and got it back for you. You go into halftime, you reassess, and TCU was only up 7.
And remember, Houston gets the ball to start the second half.
I mean, look at these moves, Tim. I don't think you can compete.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can compete.
Yeah, that is a toe tapping. Timmy B's got the boom shakalaka left.
All right, we'll see. All right, now.
That's a boom shakalaka move there. Fans will listen. They may be a little disgruntled. The good news, I guess, is there are enough fans here to be heard with a little boo bird. But the truth of the matter is, this program at 8-2, now ranked and largely anonymous to the nation, on the precipice of winning number 9 this season. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. It's halftime. Let's go back to our studio in L.A. Fellas, how do you do?
We boom shakalaka.
Edgar Winter Group, it's been the good and the bad, like a monster mash. At times in this game, we've seen the good end of Hoover, the bad end. Houston has had their moments as well, been some entertaining first half.
Yeah, like I spoke about before the game started, it's been up, it's been down throughout the season for TCU, and that was exactly what we saw in the first half. You talked about the good of Hoover, and when it was good, it was really, really good. Starts the game 12-14 with that beauty right there, and then beating coverage with the throw, an outstanding throw versus two-man coverage, which is essentially a double team, and then there's the bad. Right, you got interception here, trying to give McAllister a chance, didn't get it high enough, and then a great play by the Houston Cougars back in, and then the peanut punch. That's not Hoover's fault. No. However, that's the up and the down of TCU. They have to try to find a way to steady it, and for Houston, you have a chance, right? You gave yourself an opportunity, creating some turnovers. Now you got to start to capitalize on some of that.
One thing about the Cougars, and TCU's got to be mindful of this, Willie Fritz teams, they don't beat themselves.
Yeah.
If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Here comes Makai Muse on the return, and they get it out to the 22-yard line. And speaking of Willie Fritz, Josh talked to him at halftime. Josh?
Well, and he told me they started the game really poorly. He said they looked like a team coming off a bye week, which they were, but he expected them to come out with more urgency. He said we got to do a better job of taking advantage of these opportunities. Defense is getting these turnovers, but the offense continues to stall out. Look for them to try and start fast on this drive right now, Tim.
Might be a good idea to get Dean Connors going again. He certainly has been magnetic, both as a receiver and as a running back. Over 100 yards for him. Whitman looking long for Young. And boy, oh boy, with a marker down in the backfield, you're thinking holding whenever you see that. Young was there, but the throw was back shoulder. He needed it to be front shoulder. Let's check the flag.
66, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Mackenzie Agnola.
Yeah, that's not the fast start that head coach Willie Fritz wanted, and for Connor Wegman, you've got to get that ball down the field. But whether you did that or not, there's a hold. Big number 66 right here. You can see him falling down, and he has to do something to protect his quarterback, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was just being pancaked by Denver. A defensive pancake, if you will. 1st and 20 after the penalty. Wigman, quarterback power. Ahead for 7. Naomi Obi-Izor with the tackle. The 4 for TCU. Gain of 7 on the play, so 2nd down and 13.
Hey, Tim, take a look at this. Dean Connors, number 44. Watch him in the middle of your screen there. He's looking at his wristband as this ball is being hiked. He is not ready, and somehow he finds a way to get in front and block for Wegman.
Mix up on that pass pattern between Wigman and his receiver. Harvey Broussard did not exit stage right on that hitch pattern that was being thrown on the up and out. He went inside, and now it's 3rd and long.
This drive is kind of a great example of how devastating that holding penalty can be.
Yeah.
Right, when you get a holding call in a drive, it's almost like you chalk it up, right, where you don't think you're ever going to get the first down unless you get some kind of penalty or something like that. But they have a 3rd and long, but it's manageable.
See what Slade Nagel draws up. It's Connors on the check down. Nothing doing this time. Well defended by Obi Izor again, number 4. And it's a punt formation, so even getting the ball back, trailing by a touchdown, first play, you get a 10-yard holding, and that ends that series in short order. Liam Doherty will punt it away.
And the one thing I've seen, it's different for the offense and the defense of Houston. On the sideline here, there's a lot of juice with the defense. I mean, they are jacked up, making plays. For the offense, it's kind of somber. It seems like they look like they feel like they're not doing their job. However, they have to find a way to manufacture some energy and get themselves going because this defense is playing great.
Beautiful boot. Dwyer backing up and a fair catch made as he falls down at the 30-yard line. Let's go down to Josh.
Well, Timmy B, before I even asked Sonny Dykes anything, he said turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. You can't have 3 of them and expect to win. He said Josh Hoover is playing well other than those 2 throws. He said, hey, we got to clean that up here in the second half. The defense, though, playing really well, a big reason that they had the lead in the first half.
In a lot of ways, Josh, I think those expectations on Hoover and how outstanding he was the start of this season. I mean, even after the loss to Arizona State, he stayed hot. But it really started backing up on him after that loss at Kansas State. He's just trying to right the ship. On first down, Payne. Good defensive surge from Carlos Allen again. Boy, I loved talking to him yesterday, and I asked him about moving around, that he's not just at nose tackle. He said, listen, I'm old school. I'm like the CEO of the chain. My clothing brand, I can go wherever I want. If they give it to me, I'll take the opportunity. 2nd and 9. Payne running the stretch play, trying to cut it back up. Not much, but a couple. Jalen Garner with the stop, the Will linebacker, senior from Norcross, Georgia.
And Tim, another thing that Carlos Allen Jr. told us, he said, we've got to get him in 3rd and long.
Oh, yeah.
He said, when we get him in 3rd and long, that's when I get to have fun. Here's the 3rd and long.
And there's the pressure, and a flag is down. Dwyer was the intended receiver. The marker is on the other end of the field where Manjack was running.
And Latrell McCutcheon Sr. had his hands all over the wide receiver. I imagine they're probably going to get a holding call, if not pass interference.
And that'll keep this drive going. You know, we've touched a lot on...
There are 2 fouls on the play, illegal substitution, defense, that penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 1, defense, spot foul, automatic, first down.
That's McCutcheon. We talked a lot about... Here you go. Here's the hold.
Yeah, hands all over him from the start. Now the ball's in the air. He's grabbing the shoulder pad, and he's not truly impeding his progress. But when he tries to go to the back shoulder, he's not allowed to free his arm, and I like the call.
We've talked a great deal about Nagel, the offensive coordinator for Houston, but Austin Armstrong, who's calling these defenses now for Houston, what an incredible career he's already had at age 32. He's been calling defenses at big-time locations. His last stop was Florida before making it here. Denman. Armstrong is a young man from York, Alabama. Admittedly has Crimson Tide tattooed to his derriere. He admitted that. But when you grow up as the son of a coach playing defense in Alabama, you're going to know a lot about football early on. Jordan Dwyer on the receiving end. His defense now has them in a 3rd and long situation as McCutcheon comes up to make that play. He could not wait for an opportunity to work for Willie Fritz, though. You know, he worked for guys like Kirby Smart, Billy Napier. A sage veteran like Fritz was somebody he could learn from. Going deep for Bailey. Tremendous defense. What a recovery by Rook Brown. And no, he did not turn to look at the ball, but he didn't need to.
Tim, I talked about one indefensible play. Well, that slot fade is just as indefensible with speed like that. He finds a way to get in phase, and at the perfect moment, reach those hands out. The ball hits him on the head, and that's a heads-up play by number 24 in red. Rook Brown.
Heads up and hand up at just the right time.
There you go.
Ethan Kroll will punt it away. McCombuse inside his 10. Beautiful left-footed punter. Fair catch called at the 11-yard line. A punt of 39 yards. Cougs get it back after going backwards in their opening possession of the second half. Oh, we're going to have a tremendous finish in the frenetic Big 12. And Sir Armstrong, very pleased. Where'd you put that tattoo again? Oh, sponsored by Progressive. Progressive is helping veterans drive their lives forward with its Keys to Progress programs. Talk about get down with your bad self with the percussion section. My goodness.
Incredible flexibility and dexterity.
Yeah. All kinds of moves.
I mean, I'm just telling you, man, Houston's got soul.
Some good and some like that.
Soul-ish.
Yeah. Not exactly a candidate for any dancing shows. DJ Butler takes it ahead to the 15-yard line before he is stung on the back end by Obi Izor again. Naomi just polished up big time after a gain of 5. Connors checks back into the game. Number 44 in red. And DJ Butler will stay in the backfield with him, so they'll go twin backs. And the extra tight end is also in there. Connors, they load up. Tried to reverse direction and then decided to catapult himself forward for maybe a yard or two. He got something out of a play that was really going to go nowhere. This is, okay, which way do I go? Which way do I go?
A little here and then
yep.
A little spin around.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to find a way, I guess. I mean, that's one of those Barry Sanders super amazing 1-yard runs.
Yeah. I'll sashay to the left, sashay to the right, and then promenade forward.
What do you know about some sashay? I don't know nothing about no sashay.
3rd and 3.
Tanner Kojo in motion. He hasn't had a catch yet.
Corner route incomplete. Intended for Harvey Broussard. And nothing doing for the Cougars again. They are now 2 of 11 on 3rd down.
I mean, Kojo, he's not showing much frustration, but you have to know that he has to be frustrated. We're well into this football game, and he hasn't touched the football just yet. Had one opportunity. It was intercepted because of a double team. He is a huge part of what they do on offense. I think that they have to make a point in the next drive to get him going by any means necessary.
Oh, they had the block on that time. Just missed it. Dwyer with the fair catch at the 41. Yeah, his catch radius is so long and rangy. Not getting him involved is big time. It says a lot about the job Andy Avalos has done. A lot of time, a lot of game with plenty on the line.
You guys okay back there?
Sponsored by Geico. It feels good to Geico. And we're feeling good here in Houston, Texas. Perfect temperatures here. Lone Star State. Think of this program and it stops. The Southwest Conference. Back over into the American. Now into the Big 12. Transition has been made. Willie Fritz era underway. Jeremy Payne for TCU gets ahead to 3. And it'll be 2nd down and 7 coming up. You know, in a lot of ways, people don't think of the rich history of a lot of different programs, but Houston's got plenty of it. They really do. Bill Yeoman back in the 70s, the Houston Veer back in the day. There's a streak route from McAllister. He's got it again. When in doubt, and you see single coverage, go there.
Yep, you got those safeties low. You know what you got to do, Tim. You got to throw the go. And when you have a receiving threat like Eric McAllister, take a look. He gives a little push off, though, there. He gets away with one, propels himself forward for a catch. But if the referee doesn't see it, they don't call it. It's a big play for TCU's offense.
37 yards and a Michael Irvin-esque catch. Into the corner again. Dwyer. Touchdown, flag down. Latrell McCutcheon right there with him. Hold everything.
Yeah, you've got a Houston Cougar on the ground right next to the flag. You anticipate that that's probably going to be a holding, and it might be on Chase Curtis, number 81.
All right, he's down on his knees.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist, number 81. Offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
You see the disgust on his face. He knows it. Hands on helmet. He can't believe it. But it looked to be a good call.
Yeah, he comes across, and there is a clear rule where you're not allowed to chop a guy outside of the box, right? You're not allowed to cut a guy down below the waist outside the box. He does it there and takes back a huge touchdown catch by Dwyer.
When you throw the ball high in the air for either McAllister or Jordan Dwyer, do they high point it or what?
Man, that was, and he didn't even use only his hands. He used his body way up high.
First and 25. Payne gets ahead for maybe 4, more likely 3. Second down.
Josh Hoover, obviously, situationally, you would love to get back in position and go get a touchdown, get a first down. However, you have to know that the real goal here is to put points on the board, right? So you want to try to get in position to get 3. No risky throw is needed. He's turned the ball over early in this game. You want to make sure you stay away from that here.
Second and 22. Uh-oh, it's intercepted again, and it is Will James again. He saw that coming all along. He squatted on that one. You talk about a defensive coordinator's dream. That is a scouting job well done. He knew what was coming. A half step sooner, he's going for pay dirt. Cougs have it. Down 7.
Your mental health is better.
He had an interception prior to that, just got his second of the afternoon, and Hoover's now thrown 3 after a scintillating start of 12 of 14 and 2 touchdowns. Dean Connors in the backfield, first and 10. Rickman, and that quarterback power again. And Josh has got some news for us on that Houston offensive sideline.
Well, guys, Willie Fritz talked about taking advantage of opportunities. The same message for wide receiver coach Derek Sherman, very animated, talking to his wide receivers, saying, we got exactly what we wanted and we didn't take advantage. Look for them to light a fire on them and see if they respond out here, guys.
Indeed. Kobe Young, Broussard, Umari Thomas, all out there. Rickman carries it again. And he's a yard shy of the first down at the 38. Devin Deal comes away with a tackle.
If you're a defensive back for TCU, you can't get bored because Houston is starting to lean into the legs of their quarterback because these wide receivers are still dangerous. And like we just saw, wide receiver coach Derek Sherman laying into them. They're going to want to make plays. So you cannot get lulled to sleep by the run game of Houston.
Andy Avalos needs his defense to step up here. And again, Wickman, that's just smart. Plays it to the left, sees that whole opportunity and slides his body across. Long and lean. And finally, they convert a third down from 3rd and 1. That helps, obviously. But he's had him in 3rd and long a lot this afternoon. Avalos' defense has been outstanding on 1st and 2nd down for the most part.
They have, and that's a really nice response by offensive coordinator Slade Nagel, understanding what his quarterback needs to get comfortable and get his feet into this game. 3 straight runs and a first down pickup.
From the 41. Redmond, play action. Cozio was open momentarily. He goes to Thomas. Yamaria Thomas. He's got speed to burn. Just ran out of real estate. If he'd had another half yard to his right, he may have gone all the way.
I just said it, Tim. You can't get lulled to sleep. Wegman, they want to take a shot. It's not there. He finds his outlet, and when you get the ball in the hands of number 0 in red, something special is bound to happen. A nice pickup by Amari Thomas.
23 yards. I'll say it was nice. Wickman tucks it, runs it, a lot of real estate, no give up, in inside the 10. Yards on this run.
Everybody's covered. And earlier, we saw him slide down prematurely. I'm just telling you, that's not going to happen here. Outstanding job by Wigman, seeing what's going on down the field, then tucking it and getting vertical in a hurry.
Houston looking to tie this game up. 1st and goal. Connors. One man to beat. Touchdown.
Elamzor is in man-to-man coverage, but he gets picked by all the trash. You have these routes going. He can't get over it. He gets there a little too late. A nice move by Dean Connors, and he powers his way into the end zone.
It really looks as though Slade Nagel has figured out that TCU is going to take Cozy on the way. That means some other guys are going to have to make plays.
Absolutely.
Sanchez to tie it. Well, let's face it, the Cougs need chaos if they want to make the Big 12 title game. We'll detail that a little bit later, but rest assured, getting to 9-2 and 10-2 is a big deal in H-Town.
So, are you a holiday person? Who did you get? We've got the large one in function.
Thank you.
You are stealing my Jersey Mike's cake.
Hey, Danny, Jersey Mike's is now an official sponsor of the NFL.
You sneaky bee. First you steal my look, now you steal my job.
Danny, I just love these subs.
Yeah.
Make Jersey Mike's a game day thing.
A sub above.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start, so he went to AutoZone, where an AutoZoner helps him choose a new battery, so he can make the tailgate and celebrate.
In the zone, AutoZone.
On a confrontational Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Coach, we need to talk.
What was it this time?
We gave up 24 points last Saturday.
Guys, we won.
Well, not by enough. Bring out the hot seat. You're gonna sit in it.
Cue the billboard.
I just hope your new coach is also sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Ooh. Uncue the billboard.
You know we were just kidding about all that hot seat stuff, right?
College football, it's a Pepper thing.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance.
Please welcome Charles Woodson.
Unfortunately, I didn't check to see if anyone was watching before I stole cotton candy from a child. Checking Allstate first was really smart. Not checking the Jumbotron, not smart. Well, at least I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds. Was it worth it? Yeah. I love...
Early Black Friday sale. Get 20% off fashion jewelry and gifts.
I'm sorry about the billboards, Danny. I promise I'm not trying to take your job.
Well, personally, I prefer those billboards.
Did anyone ever tell you you're a tad bit vindictive?
All the time.
Make Jersey Mike's a game day thing.
A sub above.
Go!
Fear Factor House of Fear premieres January 14th on Fox.
What a day for Dean Connors. Look at those totals. Let's go back to this most recent touchdown, Devin.
You know, I love to show you why. It's all about the design by offensive coordinator Slade Nagel. He does an outstanding job of setting up natural picks. You got pick here, you got pick here. Now, the problem with that is Elamzor, he has to get through what we call the trash. Watch him have to bubble over the top. And when he does that, it creates just enough space for the runner-catcher, Dean Connors, to catch, make a move, and get in the end zone. He puts him down. Didn't even really have to touch him, and he's in the end zone, and Nagel loves his design. I tied that shoe. That was me.
For Nagel, it all began at Barb High School in Lake Charles, Louisiana. For Slade Nagel. Time now for some Aflac trivia. Aflac trivia question. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover with Aflac. Which Houston quarterback has the most pass yards in a single game? This ought to be easy. It ought to be easy, Devin. It should. Now, it happened probably about the time you were born, but it still should be easy. You should still know this guy. First down with the ball at the 25 for TCU. Jeremy Payne in the backfield. I'll give you a little while to think about it before I blow you up for not knowing. Manjack. When you think back to the play Manjack could have scored on and Dwyer committed a holding penalty, that would have changed things a little. Gain of 10, first down.
So Tim, there's a couple options here. It could be Andre Ware, right? That's the easy option. But I know our old producer, Jake Jolivet, he's not going to give it to us that easy. So I got to think a little more.
Yeah, okay. I already know, but he knows that. Curtis.
Oh, so you're telling me it's not Andre Ware. Okay. I eliminated one. Got it.
Jalen Gardner makes the stop.
I know exactly who it is.
Just a gain of 1.
David Klingler.
I'd say that you call that one. Jeremy Payne remains the setback. A little time did help that time. Jeremy Payne hammered by Garner again. Nothing doing on that play. So you want the real answer?
Here we go. Ah!
Yep. 7-16.
And guess what? I wasn't born yet.
You weren't.
I was born in 1991.
I knew you weren't. Yeah,
Yep.
That was the year my youngest daughter, Tara, was born.
Well, this crowd is coming alive. It's a big third down, and you got man-to-man coverage with pressure down the middle.
Blitz up the gut. Hoover in trouble and down. Safety blitz. Jordan Allen. Corey Plant. Defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong brought the house.
Zero coverage. That means there's nobody in the back end. It's man-to-man coverage across the board, and you've got blitz, and coming from depth is going to get home. Outstanding call by defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong to get to the quarterback.
Beautiful punt by McCaslin. Muse with a fair catch at the 40, 36-yard boot. Ohio State, Michigan. Wolverines have won 4 in a row. Biggest regular season game in college football without question. All starts at 9 a.m. Special 3-hour Big Noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor. Then it's Michigan, Ohio State at noon only on Fox.
Tim, can you say that one line about 4 in a row louder for the people in the back? And when I say people in the back, I mean Jake Jolivet in the truck.
Yeah. A little hubris from 98, but then again, it is right. 4 in a row is 4 in a row.
I mean, it's just facts is what it is. I know it's hubris to send them for facts.
Snead, a little pitch reverse. Flag is down behind him. Zach Chapman making the stop.
Yeah, takedown there.
Yeah.
Looks like by number 66, Mackenzie Agnello.
Holding, number 66. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Here's my thing about Ohio State and Michigan. I'll just mention it once and we'll move on. This game is pretty important. But when I see Ryan Day sitting people in today's game, now some might be hurt, banged up, nicked up a little bit, but saving them specific for next week's game, I wonder sometimes if that doesn't backfire. There's the holding by
Clear
Agnello.
takedown there by Agnello.
I think it's in his head. I think that Michigan's dominance in this series the last 4 years is in the heads of Ohio State. Connors. Boy, he popped a tree, didn't he? Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, +1, a gain of 11.
Hey, I'm just telling you, when you have a takedown block, you put your team way behind the chains, you've got to make up for it on the next play. Take a look at big number 66, pull around, and get in front of Elarmzor to create space for Connors to put this ball back in position to get a first down.
82 yards rushing, 47 receiving, a total of 149 total yards for number 45, 44 in the red-clad uni of Houston. Gonna tote it again right here. He's getting some tough yards. He's getting tough yards. He's making big plays too.
Yeah, but this is exactly where TCU's defense wants Houston. In 3rd and long, they feel like they have an opportunity to create havoc in these situations with that front seven. Devin Deal, Marcus Deal, the brothers. And we haven't seen much from big number 92, Anzo Demba.
Yeah, Ansel Demba has been throttled for the most part. A timeout taken by TCU. And let me say this. I keep thinking that Koziel is going to have a moment. I don't know when, but at some point, number 9 in red is going to make a play. He's just too good to go without a catch.
Yeah, he's about as talented a tight end as this country has. And when we were talking to head coach Willie Fritz, he was imploring us, letting us know, like, listen, this guy is a pro. His catch radius, his ability, he's becoming a better blocker, but he makes his money as a wide receiver. And Josh has a little more on Koziel. Josh?
Yeah, when Koziel was at Ball State, he watched the tape of tight ends that played at small schools like Trey McBride, Colorado State, 2 guys that are pros now, just to figure out how to make a name for himself at a small school. Led to him becoming an All-American at Ball State and got him on the radar of Houston, and here he is, guys.
3rd in the Big 12 with 5.7 catches per game on average. Under pressure again in the heat. Umari Thomas was the intended receiver. Wickman had to let it go. Lester was right there, but he was getting hammered at the point in which he was releasing this football.
Yeah, like I said, they like to do things up front to try to get to the quarterback. They run a game and hit Wickman. He has to get the ball out. But how about number 22 in that white jersey? Lester coming in, replacing Bud Clark, who's injured today. He has done a masterful job filling in.
That was Paul Oyewolye, number 97, that provided the heat on Wickman. Fair catch. Can they catch up to it? No, they can't. 57 yards, the boot. This defense has just been dynamite all afternoon.
Yeah, they've been incredible. They've been in possession to take the football away. 3 interceptions from Josh Hoover. This Houston Cougar defense has been opportunistic. They've been special. And when we talked to defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong, he said, listen, we're going to give up yards. That's fine. Yards don't equate to winning the football game. We've got to give up yards and give up yards. We bend, but we don't break. And then we take the ball away. And they've done just that.
First guy tackling is going to be the key, he said.
Oh, yeah.
And that's happened a lot today. Payne. You know, this is the kind of game you expect dynamic offenses. There was a time when you had a 14-14 game this deep into the second half. You're like, wow, look at Hoover's good and bad statistically in this matchup. But listen, this league now has gotten strong on the defensive side of the football as well. One of the reasons why it's getting more love in the current CFP standings. 2nd and 8. Payne. I thought it was interesting that both BYU and Utah were where they were in the standings. By the way, Utah getting all it wants from Kansas State today, but that says a lot about what the committee members are beginning to think about more than just Texas Tech out of this conference this deep into the season. 3rd down and 2. Speaking of BYU, Cincinnati awaits them at the nip. Jason Benetti and RG3 will have it for you.
The offensive line has done a great job clearing holes, but they go to play action.
Pressure, and the pass is dropped by DJ Rogers. Would have had a first down.
That is a huge drop. A guy who has played really good football, had his best blocking game a week ago. just completely flat out drops the football. That's heartbreaking for head coach Sonny Dykes.
Ethan Crowd to punt it away. Hughes back deep. Fair catch by Muse at the 33. Today's Heisman Watch is sponsored by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Well, there they are.
Very, very talented group of young men. Fernando Mendoza, I think, is the leader in the clubhouse, but Marcel Reed, down 27 and 99 yards in front of you to finish it. That's pretty darn good. And as you know, Jacob Rodriguez from right here in the Big 12 continues to impress. He's on a bye week, though, right? But that shouldn't hurt him.
Yeah, but he got some good pub, courtesy Big Noon Kickoff.
He did.
RG3 wasted no time saying that's his choice.
There you go.
You know, I'm a Heisman voter, but if I'd said that, I'd lose my vote. Then again, I didn't win a Heisman.
There you go.
Connors bounces it outside. And that's a tackle for loss. Alarmzor coming through there again. And that's what the TCU defense always looks to do. The clock winds down to the end of the third quarter. It'll be second down and 11 for the Cougs when we come back to begin the fourth quarter. What's been a really entertaining game on a big day of Big 12 football on Fox. We mentioned Cincinnati and BYU to follow, but the Cougs still in this thing mathematically, trying to stay close.
Every specialty pizza is just $9.99 when I...
Sponsored by Geico. It feels good to Geico. Look at that ball control, would you?
Yep.
And vital at this stage for Houston with the ball, but behind the sticks just a little. Second down and 11 coming up as we open the fourth. 3 wide with the extra tight end, and Connors off the play fake, passes incomplete. They're looking for a flag, not going to get it. Kobe Young went down, got tied up with Channing Canada. I guess they're going to say he just got his legs tied up. That looked like it could have very easily been flagged.
Yeah, it was a little bit of legs tied up, but he's got hands on, right? So with hands on and the receiver, that's pass interference.
Oh, absolutely.
That is a missed call by the officials.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he maybe does fall a little on his own, but he was helped by Canada for sure.
No question. In a relatively well-officiated game until then. Wegman, check down to Connors, and he dropped it. That's the first time he looked ahead before bringing it in. He's very upset with himself.
Yeah, I mean, he still probably got that pass interference, clear pass interference on his mind at home, right? The crowd's into it, and you don't throw that flag. I have no idea how that flag stayed in the pocket of the official.
Couldn't agree more. So Doherty will have to punt it away. Jordan Dwyer is back deep in single safety. Inside his 30. It's going to back him up a little. He's got room to run, though. Did he outkick his coverage? Look at this. Look at this. Dwyer. I think he just ran out of gas. I was about to reverse field as he got near the sideline, and I think he got a little gassed. Didn't want to pull a hammy.
Man, it was so impressive to see this return because he didn't think that ball was going that far. But for the punter, you don't punt the ball high enough, right? And so your coverage can't get down there. You give Dwyer an opportunity to see what's going on downfield, and he makes good on this return, almost gets into the end zone.
Watch as he sees he's about to reverse it. He knows, uh-oh, look out. Fritz is an old special teams coach. He takes that personally. And yesterday's walkthrough concentration point really was on special teams. 1st and 10 now for the Horned Frogs at the 29 of Houston. Reverse. Bailey. Jordan Bailey. And Houston stayed home. In fact, there's a loss on the play. Hey, these two defenses really well scouted, aren't they? Yeah. Eddie Walls made that tackle. Austin Armstrong is a rising star as a defensive coordinator. I can see why with the job he's done. Andy Avalos, by the way, the veteran and a former head coach, has matched him play for play for TCU. Second down, 11. 32 years old, this guy. Been calling defenses since he was 26.
Haven't heard much from Manjack in a while.
Well, good call, partner. He's got it inside the 30. You mentioned he began at USC, but, you know, this game has got to be extra special for him, having been at Houston before transferring to TCU.
Yeah, and for Hoover, that's just been his one comfort place where he hasn't really made a bad decision. And honestly, getting the ball to Manjack, even though he doesn't have gloves on, that seems like always a good decision. This is a situation where you cannot take a sack. You're already in field goal range. You want to make sure you preserve that distance.
Hoover. He's going to pull it down and go. That last move to vault himself past the line to make, and the first down gets him to the 16.
Not only did he not take a sack, he made a great decision to get into the fight, get outside, and find a way to scamper for a first down. This is something that wasn't truly a part of his game in the past. He's made it a part of his game, and it pays dividends there.
Yeah, for TCU, this is a team, yeah, they've got 4 losses. That's more than they ever thought about having this year. They got to win out, get to a quality bowl game. They're only 3 years removed from playing for the national championship under Sonny Dykes. Payne to about the 11. Gain of 5. Let's see, who did they beat to get to that national championship game? Trying to remember. Oh, yeah, it was Michigan. Just thought I'd throw that out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Second and 5. RPO maneuver to Rogers. And he is corralled back at the 15. Look at that. A group of Cougars all in red arriving in a bad humor. A loss of a yard.
I just love the intensity and the violent nature in which this defense plays. Just watch everybody strain and get to the football. Rogers catches it, and it's already there, someone there to meet him, and then Brown finishes it off with the host of his other teammates.
Fourth tackle for loss for Houston. Third down, 6. Manjack in the slot up at the top. Looking that way, he does not reel it in. Only got a hand on it, and Rook Brown was right there with him again, and he's picked up a nice show of sportsmanship by Latrell McCutcheon.
I think it's a no-brainer. You get the field goal, but I like the throw. It could be a little bit more on the back shoulder. Manjack tries to go up with one hand, not able to make the catch, and nice defense again from number 24 in red, Rook Brown. I know his name is Rook, but he's playing like a senior, and he is.
Yeah, McCashlin, by the way, went 1 of 3 last time out. He missed from 30 yards against the Buffaloes, subbing for Kyle Lammerman, who was injured. This will be from 29. Right through. Big field goal for that young man to take the lead. 17-14. We're coming down to Cases at the home of Urban Cowboy.
Local Genesis retailers.
When you've got a classic ride, you need tools you trust. Whether you drive it every day or only take it out on the biggest night of the year, count on Harbor Freight. Early Black Friday is here.
Wendy's has new chicken tenders. Crispy, juicy, tendery, tendies. Ooh, that's fun to say. Tendies, tendies, tendies. And they're so good, maybe we should change our... For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
Fox College Football, sponsored by Pacific Life, building confident futures for nearly 160 years. And by Genesis Motor Company, Motor America, Genesis. Uh-oh, got the sprinkler working.
That's your go-to, ain't it?
That's my go-to.
That's your go-to.
That's the one that got me in trouble with Spencer on TikTok.
No, I don't think that was it.
Well,
I think it was you. I think it was something else.
My arm was on that, doing that, and then I kind of hoisted.
No.
Sort of what happened.
No, sir.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It was not.
By the way, Spencer Tillman, a proud Houstonian. We're in his town. Ate at his restaurant last night. Dick Anthony's, one of the best steakhouses around. That'll go through the end zone for a touchback. Well, the timeline for Willie Fritz, two-time JUCO national champion at Blinn. He was a conference champion at Central Missouri.
Look at that stat.
Two-time conference champion at Sam Houston State. That's in Huntsville, Texas, about an hour from Texas A&M. Sun Belt champion at Georgia Southern. That was after Irk Russell got it going in the 80s. AAC champion at Tulane. Took down USC in the Cotton Bowl. 2022 was the year.
So,
and he had offer after offer after offer. You know why he wanted to come to Houston? He did. That's where his kids were. Well, he wanted to be near his kids and his grandkids.
What I'm hearing is all he does is win.
Yeah, that's right. Laney and Brooke mattered so much to him. DJ Butler out to the 39-yard line. Jamel Johnson ahead for 13 yards. I say all of this because think about all of the love and the run of publicity for Kirk Cignetti. You tell me who has a resume that is as good or close to as good as Cignetti's. It's this guy. Okay. And he's followed a path of a Lance Leipold. But yet no one really talks about him nationally. They should. They will, as long as he stays here in Houston. Whitman, about a yard, and that's all. I mean, it's an absolute crime that this program had to wait till this far into the season to get ranked. What a embarrassment for the AP and the coaches poll.
Well, we've got some work to do to make sure that they stay ranked.
Absolutely.
They got a second and long here.
Yeah.
An unpredictable first down play puts you behind the chains. So you got to find a way to go get 6 here to put yourself back on track.
As that old saying goes, how do you handle a full cup of success, right? 2nd and 9 for Whitman. Flag down. Whitman lets it fly, and it's caught. Koziel at long last. His first target of the night.
Yeah,
and his first catch.
It's going to stand. The defender for TCU is lined up offsides. Number 0,
Offside,
Zach Jackman.
Number 0. Defense, penalties decline. First down.
Well, we finally got the answer to when will we hear from Tanner Koziel.
And you don't know the cool thing? He hasn't been frustrated. He's been encouraging his teammates on the sideline. And not only that, he's been blocking his butt off. But he never got a ball thrown to him. And when you have such a good attitude, when your time is called, that's how you make the play. A great job there by Tanner Koziel.
You can make a case that he's been a great decoy for Yamari Thomas and for Dean Connors coming out of the backfield. Out of the shotgun. Whitman with time. Underneath to Butler. DJ Butler inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. Caleb Alonzar again with the stop, a gain of 5.
That was such a nice play by both the offense and defense. For TCU, you put a cap on top of the defense and make sure they can't get to the end zone with their double move route. And for Houston, your quarterback does a nice job, doesn't force anything downfield, checks it down, gets 5.
DJ Butler remains in the game as the setback. Koziel goes wide to the top of your screen. Now
you got your best receiver on a freshman.
Yep. Butler following Koziel. That's Oye with the stop, number 97.
Amari Thomas, number 0 in the slot. They just sub out their true freshman. I would imagine that Andy Avalo said, I love your game. I don't want to have a true freshman guarding the best receiver on the football field. In comes Jordan Lester, who's had a heck of a day in the back end.
He really has.
For TCU.
I mean, for them to be without Bud Clark, they've played really well in that back end.
Here's the matchup right here.
1st and 10. Whitman underneath, crossing pattern, Thomas. Tremendous stop by Naomi Obiizor. You talk about make the first tackle as quickly as you can. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, of course, and for TCU, they're in man-to-man coverage, but what they do is pass it off, right? So he passes it to the next guy. So although he was initially covered by Jordan Lester, he passes it off, and a nice job of Obi Izor being in position and making that tackle where the ball is caught.
2nd down and 7. 3 wides to the bottom of your screen. Option to the wide side counters. Great play. Alonso again. That young man has just been outstanding all day. And here at dusk, he's even better.
It's a mismatch from the start. When you have Obi Izor, it's going to be difficult for a wide receiver to block him. He defeats the block right away and gets to the runner.
3rd down and 13 now. They've got him behind the sticks where Andy Avalos loves to have him. Is it Koziel time again?
Houston brought in the speedster, Kobe Young. He's at the top of your screen.
Oh, a called quarterback draw all the way, and Devin Deal has the answer. Drags him down. So, Sanchez time, perhaps, right?
I think so.
Ethan Sanchez, his longest, 52. He's 19 of 22. He's had a brilliant year. 86.4%. His longest, as I mentioned, 52. I mean, he probably won't win the Groza, but he's certainly on the finals list. This will be from 49. Out of the hold of Jake Sock. Jacob Garza, the long snapper. He didn't get it.
He's well short.
Yeah, really well short. Did not have the height, and we've got a flag down. They're excited over there on the TCU sideline.
Illegal formation, more than 4 in the backfield. Kicking team, penalties decline. Field goal's no good, timeout.
So they knew that, and that's why they're so happy. Just did get the laces taken care of, but just not enough. Not even close enough to be a crossbar unkind. Timeout. Well, the Cougar fans are still in it, thinking good thoughts. Even though they're down 3 and their field goal kicker, who's been really good all year, had a poor effort from 49 yards to hopefully tie the game. It did not happen. TCU takes over. And they have it at the 31. Denman in the backfield. And again, Kendall Briles moves those wide receivers to the opposite side. And there goes Denman breaking tackles, getting to the second level quickly. They'll only be 3 yards shy of a first down, a gain of 7. That was Sione Fotu with a stop, the Mike linebacker. 2nd and 3, going quickly. Denman again. He's ahead to the 42 for the first down. Travion McCutcheon with the stop after a gain of 4.
And this defensive line for Houston, you can see they're getting frustrated because it's always just one guy, right? 3 guys get their guy in the backfield, and then one guy gets beat, and it allows for the runner to find space. They've got to find a way to work in unison and try to hold strong at the point of attack against this offensive line of TCU.
Well, as their offense bogged down after such a quick start, their defense has saved the day for them. Andy Avalos' defense has really come up big here in the second half. Hoover underneath to the tight end, Curtis. Chase Curtis has it into Houston territory at the 43, a gain of 15.
Oh, such a nice job by Curtis finding a way to uncover. His initial route was covered. He sees the defense start to flow, and then he just kind of slides to the right, and he's open for Hoover to find him.
Cougars have come up with some big plays using turnovers primarily. And I think that's what Austin Armstrong is thinking about now. We need someone to step up, whether it's been Will James, Jordan Allen, or certainly Carlos Allen up front. 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun. Denman again. You keep getting 5 or 6 yards on first down, it'll be difficult to stop them. Kentrell Webb with that tackle after a gain of 6.
Yeah, defense coordinator Austin Armstrong, he said, listen, we understand that sometimes they're going to give up yards, but he said it's difficult to score and sustain drives. But for TCU, they're doing a very good job here of sustaining drives. But if you're Josh Hoover, you can't get greedy. Continue to stay with what you're doing. Death by 1,000 cuts. You don't need the big one.
And particularly now with the clock on TCU's side. Tick, 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 tick. As we get to the 4-minute mark. Houston with all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Denman, another first down. To the 33 of Houston. And after that missed field goal and good field position, this has been as the doctor ordered for Kendall Briles' offense. Think about it. The first quarter, TCU scored 14 points at 148 yards. Houston only had 25 and no points. But since that time before this drive, TCU had outrushed them, outpassed them, and outscored them 14-3. But they find themselves down now 17-14 with that little time remaining. Denman again. This time they hold him to 2. And it's Fotu that gets the job done.
And he did a really nice job of shooting the gap. He didn't hesitate. He saw that it was a run. He shot the gap before any offensive lineman can get to the second level, and he creates a longer second down situation. Take a look right in the middle of your screen. He's going to shoot that empty gap, get in there, and put Denman down.
Second down and 8. Fritz is probably thinking, okay, we need a stop here. I'm going to have to start using my timeouts. Play fake, bubble screen, man jack. First down inside the 15 to the 14. Now you're in panic mode if you're Houston. You're in trouble now.
A well-designed play. You've run the ball so well on those second down plays where you fake a run and then you go to the quick screen out to one of your most reliable targets, man jack.
And he's going to take the timeout before the 2-minute timeout. He can stop the clock 3 more times with that 2-minute timeout. 2 timeouts remaining, but a 2-minute timeout automatically coming after the next play. Stay right where you are.
Love that. So for Mom, I was thinking...
I thought she didn't want anything.
Oh, like when she says she doesn't want any fries?
And she eats all her fries.
Exactly. What if we get her the new iPhone 17 Pro at AT&T? We can get their best deal without needing the most expensive plan.
Good call.
And you know, she loves her selfies.
Who's that?
No clue.
Get the all-new iPhone 17 Pro on us. The most powerful iPhone yet. Most expensive plan not required.
It was my idea.
And Doug.
There it is, Limu, the 50-yard line. Soon we'll be telling the whole stadium how Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance. To save people hundreds! Whoa! Ah! Looks like we're walking.
We'll get them at halftime. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It only takes
160 years. The back and forth of this was pretty incredible. Hoover struggling, turning it over 3 times via the interception, but his defense has had his back. Connors leading the way for Houston to bring them to a tie, but the field goal was made by McCashlin, and the one for the Cougars was not. And therein lies the difference. 1st and 10 to the 12. Handoff to Denman. Denman still keeps those legs churning down to the 9. Gain of 4. And we were talking during the break as we hit the 2-minute timeout. We were talking about it earlier. There's no question this is a team that at this stage probably is better served when you think about it. They are better served probably not passing the ball at all. Probably should keep it on the ground.
Yeah, especially when you're getting the push that you're getting with the offensive line. Denman, I talked about earlier in the game that he has pop. He's a true freshman, but I think he can be trusted with the football. Yeah. You do not want to put this ball in the air unless you absolutely have to, and you go and you get 3 if you have to.
Get the 3, But if you're Houston, you got to be mindful of getting that. Any way you can keep them out of the end zone, you still have a shot.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you should be thinking if you're Houston. That bend, don't break mentality, that's already what they have. So you stay with that. Of course, you'd love to get a turnover or stop them, but at least hold them to 3 and give yourself a chance.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andy Avalos' defense, as much as we've talked about the young star defensive coordinator that is Armstrong for Houston, Andy Avalos has gotten more than he ever dreamed without Bud Clark in his back end. I mean, they've been outstanding defensively in the second half. Straight to Denman on the Wildcat. And Houston was ready for that. They'll give him 2. And then another quick timeout. Houston wanting to preserve all of that time. They get the opportunity with the 2-minute. Austin Armstrong is like, hey, this is like a juggling act. I'm trying to get it back, and I'm trying to get it back quickly.
How about these two guys, defensively and offensively? Offensively for TCU, Joseph Manchak, and then the defensive back making plays all over the field, number 15, Will James.
Forced fumble and 2 picks for James. Need to stop. That's all they need here. 3rd and 3. 3 yards and you can kneel. Oh, Hoover is hammered. Shy of the necessary yardage. It'll be 4th down.
Tim, this may sound cowardly of me, but I don't mess around. I kicked the field goal, and I trusted my defense. Andy Avalos and his defense plays great defense and gets us out of this football game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cougars do take another timeout here. Yeah, this is not the time to get too greedy, is it?
Yeah, I would take the 3, and I would imagine that you take the 3 and you say, defense, you got to stand up and stop this team from going down 80 yards.
Here's something else to consider. Remember, in the first half, Houston could have taken a 3, chose not to. I've oftentimes said, and I understand momentum in the college game, but in those situations, that's the one time I would question Houston. Get the points while you can. If you had those 3 points right now, you wouldn't have minded as much that you missed that 49-yard field goal.
Of course.
You'd be tied.
Yep, and 2020 is hindsight, and hindsight is 2020, of course. However,
I just say don't chase points that early in a football game. And that's true college or pro, in my mind. But again,
so late in the game, I for sure think the TCU should kick this field goal.
Yeah. If you get a little greedy and it doesn't happen, then what's going to happen?
They're going, Tim.
Yeah. Well, this is your ball game.
So the
4th and 1.
The other thinking could be, well, if we don't get it here, we'll force them to go 95.
Yeah, but they'll only need a 3 to send it to OT.
Absolutely.
Line to make is the 4. The ball is just outside the 5.
Denman has run so well, and his offensive line has cleared the way.
Dwyer in motion. Denman, he's hammered behind the line of scrimmage. LaTravion McCutcheon gets the stop. They got greedy, and they paid the price.
And his coach is James Ross. And I watched him on the sidelines before the game doing drills to make sure you are violent at the point of attack, and then you can get inside and make plays on the runner. He was hitting guys before the game even started. He stops there. He finds a way to get inside. An outstanding job by Trey McCutcheon.
Ethan Sanchez is the happiest player on the sideline right now.
And now you're giving your offense a chance.
How about Armstrong? That 32-year-old defensive coordinator pumped. From York, Alabama with love. Dean Connors in the backfield. 3 wides. Wegman's pass caught. There is a marker down right where Martin caught it. Shaquise Martin, number 80, with his first target and reception.
I think this may be a formational thing, either offensively or defensively. It looks like they were legal for Houston, enough guys on the line of scrimmage, but we've got to wait and see.
Michael Vandervelde is our referee. This is taking a while. First time we've had this long of a break. Waiting to hear what the call is. Are they picking it up?
Offside, number 92 lined up in the neutral zone.
Good call. Ansel Dimba.
It'll be second down.
Yeah, like I thought, it looked like they were legal for use, and when that flag comes out early, the only other option is that the defensive lineman lined up across the line of scrimmage, and the reason they declined it, you can see right at the top of your screen there, the reason they declined is because they got more yards with the play that they had. They liked second and short more.
Second down and 3. Pass is caught. Oh, it's dropped. Koziel had it. And as he tried to bring it into his chest, he dropped it. Jamel Johnson, that is a shocker that he did not catch that one.
It's about as uncharacteristic a drop as we've seen in this game. This is a sure-handed tight end. We showed the stats. He is so dependable. He's been dependable all season. That time, he has a drop.
And that's the most dependable receiver with the most receptions, 56 on the year. Only one today. Third down and 3. Need the first down. Crossing pattern. Yamari Thomas has it. Past his own 35 to the 36. Lester the stop. Now, the line for them to make to get into field goal range would be the 35 of TCU. That would leave him about a 50-yarder. He's in trouble. And there he goes. Connor Whitman. Hello. How do you do?
This is not second guessing from us in the booth. We said we would take the 3 points, and this is a big part of why. He's been special all season, and he's putting his best stuff on display on this drive. A huge game from quarterback Connor Whitman.
You're well inside field goal territory now. 114 yards rushing for Whitman. Koziel is in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Whitman, blitz coming. Pass goes flailing away. And the guy that brought the hit, Kylan Jackson, is still down on the field. Back at the 35-yard line, he's hurt.
A well-timed call by defensive coordinator Andy Avalos. Gets to Whitman as he's trying to let that ball go, and he had a guy in man-to-man coverage down the field.
How many times do you see that? The guy that's giving the blow gets a stinger. They're checking. They got that helmet off right away.
Yeah, we don't want to speculate.
Nope. But
however, that does look like it could be.
Yep. They're very concerned, as you can see. We certainly hope he's okay.
What a well-timed call by defensive coordinator Andy Avalos.
He's had an unbelievable game. Yeah. He really has. These two defensive coordinators, they both take great pride in giving their team a great chance to win. Here's the Thomas catch.
I mean, I just love the poise of Whitman in the shadow of your own end zone, just going through his reads, getting to his third option, and then a huge run to get the ball down in position to at least get 3 and tie this game up.
Now, the good news is they did get Jackson up and over to the sidelines. We certainly hope he's okay. Second down and 10.
And you talk about these defensive coordinators, and they couldn't be more different. 32 years old for defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong. Feels like he's just getting started.
Yeah. Connors. Pretty clear they're trying to get that ball centered. And they'll give Ethan Sanchez an opportunity at redemption.
You know, Tim, I don't know. I don't feel like Willie Friss is trying. I think he wants to go score this ball and put it in the end zone.
Do you?
That's just a play that I think he thought would work.
Let's see. Out pattern, Koziel. He's got it at the 20 and knocked out of bounds. They're going to say he's still in bounds. Are they going to stop the clock now? Yes, they are. I think TCU did.
Yeah, the clock should have continued to run. And that's a really well done job by the officials, because he wasn't moving forward as he went out of bounds, right? He's tackled backwards, and because he's tackled backwards, he's not making a football move out of bounds, so the clock will continue to run. You can see the referee right away starts to wind his arm. Nice job by the line judge, understanding the situation, and TCU takes the timeout.
With the ball at the 20.
That's a mistake by TCU, I believe, because I think you force them to try to hurry up field goal, and then there's a little bit of duress, and then you take a timeout to maybe ice the kicker if they get there in enough time. I don't think they knew that the clock was going to continue to run.
Well, and then they've lined this up on the right hash now, which evidently is where they would prefer having it. The attempt here for Ethan Sanchez will be 43 yards. 38 yards, I beg your pardon. Line it up at the 28 for a 38-yard try to tie this game. Angle left from the right hash. Hooked it.
Complete and utter silence in the stadium.
19 of 22 coming into today. One of the top field goal kickers in the country. And he missed the first one, didn't get all of it. This time, hooked it. And how many times do you see that after one miss? An overcompensation, and Willie Fritz can't believe it. That's it, he said. And that is it.
What a game.
Oh. And the holder, Jake Sock, there to console his kicker. And for this man and for that quarterback, boy, this ends a skid that they were really tired of.
Yeah, a skid of us calling their games and then losing them.
All road games, by the way.
Of course.
All road games. At K-State, the really tough one for them was the Arizona State Friday night game when they were up 17-0.
And controlled that game.
Had total control of that game. As we told him, though, before the game, probably a good idea to have had our meeting on a Zoom instead of in person. Yep. And next year, give us a home game.
What a job by both these defenses.
Yeah, it was a wonderful game.
Oh,
absolutely a wonderful game.
Both these coaches obviously should be proud of the way their team strained and fought. But the victor, Sonny Dykes and the TCU Horned Frogs.
Sonny Dykes' team now moves to 7-4, and they got Cincinnati left. If they could get to 8-4, and by the way, Cincinnati you're going to be seeing shortly against BYU, and BYU is in strong position to get to the Big 12 title game. Jason Benetti and RG3 will have that. For our entire crew here in Houston, Tim Brando saying so long. 17-14 Horned Frogs will take you to our studios in Los Angeles after this.
Pat and Alexa Landon.